be the jungler, and very important for him to have a very good set here as Kronos is the immediate ban.
Yeah, you asked for it. The Kronos is right there. The Soul is not going to be banned. There are 3 choices that you have to ban against Dignitas' mid laner. The Kronos, the Morrigan, and the Soul.
Rival are going to take Soul unless Dig ban.
Gotta be the choice.
They have to take the Soul because if they do not, Zeros will go, okay, you ban Morrigan, you ban Kronos, but I'm still going to get my Soul, baby, so it's no real problem for me. Dignitas now thinking about what they want to do. Do they want to have to deal with Soul? Or, because I really think Rival are going to have to draft Soul. If they don't, I think it's the biggest misplay already in Game 3.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Excellent situational thinking coming out from Team Dignitas. Team Rival, obviously.
Bellona.
Go ahead and select it.
Has to be Bellona for Rival. Well, let's look at the game so far. Variety had Osiris. Wasn't the best performance, but he held his own and did his job. Game 1, he took Bellona. So they're the 2 comfort picks that Variety wants. So why not give that over to Deathwalker?
When it comes to Variety, I just don't care what he picks. He's one of those players that you can't pick or ban him out. He's just going to do him. Team Rival, however, a lot of discussion, a lot of thought process. I think the decision-making is, do we stick to the meta or do we go nuts like the fans?
The fans are definitely here to see some fantastic SMITE action. They've got it so far. But Rival are still taking their time. The crowd were trying to gym up a little bit more and get themselves into picking quicker, but Rival are really thinking about this. And this is why I think they thought they were going to get Soul.
Yeah.
And I think Dig read the book. Shouts to Biggie if that was him, the coaches in the back. These 2 are having a little war of their own, which a lot of people won't realize is how important this is in the state of the game.
Yeah, Biggie, I started to talk about it as the game unraveled in number 2. Biggie has been a very big deal for Dignitas, not just by way of picks and bans, but also sort of wrangling and controlling those different personalities. It will be the first pick Kronos, which I like because it doesn't dictate the gameplay.
I don't, because Dig should go Bellona and Raven straight away.
Yeah?
Why would you not? Why would you not go back to Game 1 all over again? Raven available? Bellona available? Jobs are good.
So if you go Bellona and Raven, you hand Rival the Nemesis game that they wanted in game number 2.
Potentially indeed. Fafnir also available, but I think if it's not broke, don't try and fix it. You know? There's no reason to.
Raven will be 1. We'll see where the second selection comes here for Team Dignitas. Still, a lot of thought process on this one as well. Very curious to see where Dig opts to go.
Yeah, very curious, and that's why they're holding the fort for me, because it's like, wait a second. We could take Bellona, but do we want it right now? Surprisingly enough, I thought Bellona would be an instant lock-in.
Terra.
Instead, it's going to be the Terra, surprisingly enough. And I'm not so sure about that, because you mentioned the Nemesis yourself. And Nemesis against Terra, you know, Nemesis has a better time of it against Terra overall. It's not as impactful because of the slows that she can put out. Limits Terra's personal mobility and the team's because of her ultimate.
Yeah, and really you got to think about, the Odin is going to be a very strong pick. Next to the Wolfies, Ra. Last game, Rival asked Wolfie to be the facilitator. This game, they're going to ask him to step up and be the big boy.
But Dignitas have respected Rival so much because they banned in Game 1 and 2, this Ra was banned against Wolfie. Game 3, their second pick. They can't leave things open like Soul that they expect to get taken away. So instead they're like, that's what the decision in picks and bans was in the ban section, was, hey guys, do we ban Soul or do we ban the Ra? And they're gonna leave the Ra up with the Odin to facilitate that too. It also means that Odin can't be picked by Dig to trap the Ra in the circle either. Terra and Raven don't have great times against that Odin either.
Yeah, you generally want to pick the Odin next to the Ra. I think it's just a very strong choice here, kind of picked in tandem. Last selection for Team Dignitas here on the right side.
The Bellona still available, but Giannis, well, not seen this in a little while. But I tell you what, if I wanted a man other than Wolfie to play Giannis, it's Zeros.
I bring it up all the time. Zeros used to play us in the jungle.
El Clasico. Yeah. He was the first person to actually run in the jungle outside of me and a charity of them.
Jungle Giannis, right?
Just so you know. But yeah, that Giannis is going to be a very interesting choice because Zeros plays it exactly as Giannis is required to. Early game a facilitator, late game an absolute monster damage dealer. But that game we just saw that Rival played on the Giannis, the problem with Giannis is confirming the damage. If you hit the numbers, it's all well and good, you get a lot of damage off, but if you don't hit it, you're not going to do anything.
So the band's coming out, the Arlong Shen, not going to be available for Team Rival, neither will the Geb. So Rival will have to go in a different direction, and them themselves looking towards the Hunter position. The Ram band out, What do you reckon we'll see here?
So I actually think Dig may actually, for Rival, he's going to be probably a Ho-Yi ban as well. Just take away some comfort for, Arca. You don't want Arca to be comfortable. He's played Rama, he's played Ho-Yi. So they're really stripping apart here, Rival, Dignitas' core of the zeros and R-kill train, which happens in the late game, where the two carries of the teams are both hunter-focused. So Dig are going to have to do something different.
So which hunters are available to get out of Odin rings? We're talking about Anher.
True. Well, there's Anher, there's Ul. We don't see too much Ul these days though, but Ul is a flavor that could come in handy here. It's a lot of a shorter cooldown. Mobility will help him away from it too. Don't know what his matchup is against Kernanos personally though, so I can't really see whether it will be Ul. Can't believe Bologna got all the way down, but how this game's gone, Variety's been very quiet so far, so I'm not too upset.
Ooh. Ares. Very quick Ares, and the Athena. I asked you the question before. So, is Rival gonna get weird? And that's exactly what they do.
I want to see Deathwalker's camera if I can, because I was talking to Rival earlier on as Jingwei gets locked in, right? I was talking to Rival before this event started.
All right.
And there was a lot of talk, and they were like, we've got something special in solo lane.
Yeah.
There's a support that hasn't been used before, or isn't used too often. And I went, well, the last one I can think of was my boy Anatoly, who works with us, bringing it out. And I tell you what, that could be, it could be, if I'm right, it's solo Ares.
I mean, we've seen the solo Athena a number of times.
But Callus can play the Ares too, so I'm not gonna get too excited just yet.
Right. We've seen the solo Athena a number of times. One of the benefits of solo Athena is that she's able to transport the map no matter what because of that Defender Olympus. Now, let's talk about the benefits of this crazy oddball solo Ares. You've got...
It might not be solo Ares though, because I'm thinking about come on, finals.
It's gotta be the Athena.
It's gonna be Athena.
It's gotta be the Athena.
Because finals, you're 2 games down and you're gonna run Ares.
It's gotta be the Athena.
It's gonna be Athena.
What?
It is Ares solo.
The man that brings you Aquash, the man that brings you Gem Solo is the man that brings you Ares.
And now, this is gonna be a big tell to see whether or not what Rival are made of. Everything's on the line, and you know what we're gonna do? Let's run Odin. We don't see too much Odin just lately. Let's run Athena. Seen some Athena. Let's run Ares solo?
It's so important in high-level Smite to stick to your own game. Team Rival's identity is being weird.
Now, I tell you what, if you guys at home are listening in, you don't need to know what Dignitas took in terms of relics, because it was bees, because taunts and Ares chains and Ares ultimates are going to cause problems. But the question is, do Dig get distracted by this and get worried by the shenanigans? That's what Rival may be looking to do. Or maybe Ares has got something going on that we don't know about just yet. Let's find out.
Well, recently Ares did see a change that sort of boosted his wave clear.
Oh.
His chains just barely got a little bit of bonus.
That's true, it does do extra damage to minions, but look at this Trix tank trying to contest vote at these backs right now. Those walls are going to slow him down for a minute, but not long enough, sadly. Walls did time out, but Trix did seal away the babies.
So here's the deal. Now, you mentioned it, the only time that I've ever really the only time I've ever really seen this Ares in the solo lane that I can remember is, as you mentioned,
Anatoly, when Tyr was strong.
Exactly. It was specifically against the Tyr who depends on his charge abilities to clear the wave. The Bologna, not the same deal. So why do we see this Ares solo?
Well, I think it's just because the fact that a lot of people are saying he's a lot stronger than people not recognize. That's what Alpha Jacker was telling me. He was saying, these solo lane matchups against some of the big names, it's actually not as bad as you think, and they're actually being able to hold the storm there. So we'll see how it works out, because I'm skeptical, okay? I see a lot of jank now and again, and I will always go in skeptical, but prove me wrong. That's the issue here. You gotta try to prove it wrong. But I guess with a taunt and a chain, maybe
Jade under the tower, Jade and Blade, see you later, first blood, that's how you start a game.
But Cubo Fred could not make a turnaround for Callus, but that was the play. What did they do? Team Rival look at the map and go, beats, teleport?
Got him.
Hello? And what's the issue with that? Because Ares is in the solo lane. The teleport is in the solo lane. So what happens? They send Athena over to the solo lane, taunt into chains, Good night, sweet prince. Variety's already dead.
Now, here's one of the beautiful things about playing jank like this is that you can sort of surprise the opposition. Right there, level 2, the amount of damage that Ares actually dishes out is big.
Taunt again.
Chains.
Not enough damage this time round, though. And obviously, Cubo Fred's still in a good enough position to heal back up. And he's got those beads too, remember. No level 5s just yet. But this is working out good. And I can keep an eye now on Dignitas' faces in the bottom right.
Oh my God.
Their comms will be trying to work out how to do it.
Chains.
Not enough damage though. Deathwalker could be in trouble.
Yeah,
but Zeros is on the way. The bait and switch. Keep going with your chains. Where's your chains now, boy? Says Cubo Fred. As I somebody owed him. Looks for Variety, can't find it. 1 for 1.
Hard commit from Dignitas, understanding that they had to kick Team Rival off of the stoop. Listen, taunt, chains, I've been screaming it. You're gonna see it every time until Dig says, stop. And that's exactly what they do with this rotation over to the right-hand side.
Well, 1, 2, 1. First blood did go the way to this Ares, but the game is still even in that solo lane because it was both the solo laners that died. Obviously, the first blood gold going the way of Ares is beneficial, but he's still not level 5 just yet.
I love it. This is some of my favorite time watching SMITE. Looking at teams like Team Rival present their own mentality, their own approach to the game, throwing the tier list out the window and still finding relative success. I say relative because they got to actually win the game.
The biggest thing with Rival for me was the fact that coming into Season 4, a lot of the teams around them had already been established over in Europe and been around for a long time. But the thing is, they were all lackadaisical on the meta of Season 4. And instead of adapting and looking for the new stuff that could be out there, Rival were the ones that did that instead. Like we mentioned, Deathwalker's been running a few unusual picks. Some of them have worked out, some of them haven't, granted. But if you don't experiment, you don't know. I tell you what though, this can't just be an experiment. Because this is do or die in the finals. And you run Ares, this is not an experiment, this is something they believe is truly serious.
Absolutely, and when it comes to Team Rival and Alpha Jackal, he has absolute faith in his players. If his players say they can do something, he knows that they absolutely can. Make no bones about it. AJ will say you're not allowed to do that. But when it comes down to this, that's why I'm so excited, because I know it's gone through the test, and I know it's going to do big things.
But the problem I do see for Rival, and this is where it's going to come from, is that they are a stand and tank and survive team, okay? That's why they've got the Ra 2 to give them the healing they need for these Odins, the Athenas, and the Ares to stay topped off. And it's only going to be voting the backline, giving them the damage. And maybe Ares, when he gets a few more aura items online, which I'm expecting him to go, to be fair, because those auras are very, very beneficial on them too. There's a couple more of them that you can get if you're not playing support.
We're talking Voidstone, we're talking
Mystical Mail, that sort of thing is even a potential too. So those do come through and increase the amount of damage you could potentially do. The survivability doesn't necessarily decrease, but the damage output can indeed increase as well.
And you know, Ares is going to struggle clearing the wave the majority of the time, but look at game number 1 and game number 2. Ice Ice Baby has a second P.O. box on the right side of the map. He's been there the entire time, even against the Osiris, who was sitting there saying, why are you doing that? That's the play style. You're there to support the Ares. He's going to do it in game 3. He's going to do it if we get to game 4. So, works out well.
But going back to what my point was, is that as this game goes on, I think this is going to be Dignitas' plan. Hold on and wait for late game, because the damage from this team is going to decrease, whereas when you look across the way, I feel the damage just grows and grows a little bit better for the side of Dignitas. So maybe it's just a waiting game for them. Avoid the fights as much as possible, but don't get too far behind. Focus on the Gold Furies, focus on the Portal Demon control, let the game come to them, and eventually these damage dealers that are good in the early game like an Ares and an Odin start to drift away.
Deathwalker missing those subsequent chains. It's not about the damage on Variety at this point. That point is already done. He hits the one chain and tries to follow up through the wave. He's trying to clear as much as possible. Variety walks into 3 different players, down to about 10% HP, up, down, separates himself. There's a long range.
Good snipe!
Brings him down, not dead just yet. One shot will do it. There it is. It's Ice, baby.
No escape, says Deathwalkers. Now the collapse begins. Rival are going to get Cubo, and Trickstack has to turn tail. The walls come down to buy him a minute. As now Rival have to move away from Zeros, but Zeros, does he have the damage?
He does not have the damage. Wolfie dancing and waiting in the heel. 1 tick of HP separated himself from the fountain. Even adapting is impressed.
Is he?
I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll ask him afterwards. Taunt? Shane? No. I can't do it. Only you can do it.
I gotta summon the Ares damage.
Okay, well.
We'll wait for the cooldown reset.
At level 8, I can see the net worth. I'd like to see the play damage for a second just to see who's on top of that right now. And if it is the Ares, because generally in the early game, it's an Ares or an Odin.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, you'd normally see them, at least in the grand scheme of SMITE and all the years we've been doing this, you'd normally see them in the support roles doing that damage. But now, it's jungle and solo.
We get to see damage penetration boots on Ares. I love it.
I can't believe it's Ares. It's still not hit me yet. Ares solo is really working so far.
One of the nice things, there's the chains, no taunt, so we're not going to get it. One of the nice things about being LAN is seeing all the stuff off of the screen. Now, if you're here at LAN, Anatoly's standing right next to the caster desk, and when the Ares was selected, this guy's smile, he was just like, yeah, it's solo Ares, I know it's happening. Oh man, he was right.
He was right. Taunt in mid, though, gotta hit Zeros.
Bang! There's the kill!
Goodbye, Zeros. We knew thee well. Cubo's now trying to run away too, and this comp is starting to come to fruition. Look at the beads, all being burnt one by one by one. And then what happens when the beads are down? Callus comes back with the Athena once more and goes, taunt time, la da 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 da. And Wolfie, in the first game on the Vulcan, he was there, trusting his teammates to hit.
Ultimate, there's no beads, no escape. Chains is good 1, Chains is good 2, under the tower, Chains is good 3, jumping away, not good enough. Kill doesn't happen.
Tell you what, but Variety baited hard there. That was very risky from Variety. He set up his team, but it was Athena that went in deep and shielded
away.
Odin,
oh, I thought he was gonna go for it. Instead, traps down, locking him in. There's gonna be trouble for Trickstack. Wolfie takes out Variety. Ice, baby. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Team Rival 6-2.
Chains. Cubo's gonna get away, but the ticks are going in. Ice is diving. Zeros managed to get 1. Ice is going very deep for this, and all Zeros can do is really watch, as now he's not going to be able to kill him. This is the problem with Giannis in the early game. The burst damage is not good enough.
Play to your personality. Chains 1, Chains 2, Chains 3, the flames. See you later. Through the fire and the flames. Deathwalker on top.
This Spanish crowd is just pumping Rival up with every single chain. The crowd is cheering, and now Dignitas are in tatters. Now Arkil goes in.
Bang!
Wolfie. Just the tip, and that's all it was required to take down Arkil. 9-4, and still the pressure on his Variety's running again. He just got away from squealing like a little pig.
Wolfie from the ends of the earth, whoopee. That's what we're seeing out of the lazy chicken. He doesn't care about no heal.
Not this time. But Callus is in a bit of an awkward spot. Dashes down, but the collapse is onto Wolfie. Aegis used to try and buy himself a second for his team to collapse. Too little, too late. Dignitas answer back a kill.
Here's the problem, Hindu man. We're very excited.
We are.
There's a lot of fun.
There's an Ares in the solo lane.
They're getting kills. They're doing damage. 2,000 gold in the lead at 11 minutes. Not even 2,000 gold. And like you said earlier, Team Dignitas is going to continue to grow where Team Rival will reach a ceiling. We need to see this turn into objectives more so than just a portal demon. We need to see these turn into objectives like Gold Tree and real tangible towers. If not, Dignitas will just say, okay, that hurts, and then I'm gonna grow up and beat you up.
Oracle started up here by Rival, and Dignitas answered back to make it a 1-for-1, so no one gets free ward vision. Share the experience as is. Dignitas, like we said, gonna try and hold on for the time being. I have a feeling though, Zeros might be going for Chronos Pendant.
Yes, I mean,
I've been waiting for this a long time, but Chronos Pendant, full cooldown reduction on mages in the mid lane, could actually start to come back along with penetration, obviously. with Spirit Desolation having 10%, with Sands of Time and Chronos Pendant, you actually hit 50% because Chronos Pendant gives you the additional 10 technically.
Taunt, there's the damage at a Wolfie. Follow-up not going to be there thanks to a wonderful play by Trix Tank, rooting players in place. Ice Ice Baby walks up, takes the damage from the Giannis and walks away.
And this is the reason why you see them focus on Wolfie in that little play there too. When Dignitas get engaged on, they look for Wolfie because he is the danger threat.
Yeah.
Look at why he was banned, by the way. Do not give this guy raw, because he's showing exactly why Dignitas respected it for 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
But being in the second pick this time, they had to let it slip through, and Rival are really playing to its strengths.
Wolfie's Ra, I think, was the first pick out of Team Rival that really made me say, there's something about this team. Back when they were Cyclone GG, it was Wolfie's Ra that I said, this guy is going to put his team on the map. And then slowly, his teammates found their own picks and their own identities and their own weird choices. That's what Team Rival does. That's why they're embracing it here in game number 3. That's why the wind is in their sails.
We've talked a lot about the other side of the map, but Arkill versus Votwell. As I say his name, Cast a Curse, maybe Airstrike to the rescue, gets him away. And that's what I was about to mention is, he had some of his hunters banned away from him here. We were wondering what he could potentially go to. He's gone with the Jingwei, which is in his god pool. We've seen it before. Has the airstrike to escape. And obviously, self-knockups are always very useful to getting away too with the agility.
Exactly. That's going to be a big deal right here. 9 to 5. Everybody working for the weekend. Team Rival working to stretch this one out. Team Dignitas working just for the win. All they need is one, Hindu, and they'll lift that trophy.
Working 9 to 5.
You like that one?
Beautiful, I was so impressed.
Pretty as a pom-pom.
What a way to make a living, Tom. What a way. Right inside the solo lane tower, surprisingly enough, is at half health for Bologna and not for Ares.
I don't know. That one's a little bit tough there.
For me, though, this draft only really works because of certain things, like the Athena and the Ares combination. And by that, I also mean that Callus has to be rotated to the solo lane earlier on, which you can't do every game, so it's not something we're going to see every single game out of teams, because teams will telegraph it. But for a one-game wonder, and a way back into it and get some momentum back on your side, and maybe just that oomph to go, okay, we're in this, we can beat them, we can beat Dignitas. Maybe this is what they need to do, and it seems to be working so far, but they've got to keep it up.
That's the key there, is that at the end of the day, you know, whether you want to call it a trick, the ace up the sleeve, or a cheese composition, having these strategies that work with one shot is totally fine, because this is the moment that you want to bring them out. This is the definition of a must-win game. Team Rival goes home without this win, so you pull something out crazy. Team Dignitas doesn't have time to react and adapt. You take it, you win, you move on again.
Ice in a bit of trouble here, up against 2, has to use the ring.
Got Athena.
Bird bomb's in place, so Athena can come down 2.
Up, down.
But up 2 yourself, boys. Wolfie takes a great snipe, but zeros his space and time. We'll remove 1. Wolfie's still in the fray, however, and the fight continues.
Sniper elite, it's mid lane versus mid lane. Chains are good on variety. Where you going? Back to the fountain, number 11 for Team Rival.
The clap was good for Trix, just a little bit too late, so it's a 2 for 1. And Rival come out on top, or do they? Because on this left-hand side...
He doesn't get it.
Is he gonna get it?
He doesn't get it. His minions are way in the lane. He'll wind up getting it eventually, but will the tier 1 tower go down first in the middle lane?
I think with Trix and zeros there, it should be enough for them to be able to defend this for now. Right. So it's tower game now. All of a sudden, we had a little bit of a fight fiesta. Now it's on to objectives, and the crowd will cheer that tier on the right-hand side and the one on the left, recognizing that objectives are what really wins you the games, not just shenanigans like Ares.
At the same time, I really don't think split push Ares is part of the strategy.
I don't know, man. Maybe you pushed it to the tier 2 tower as well now.
Yeah, he's gonna go pick up Polynomicon and get that split push up.
Listen, the meta is developed by these guys, pros, doing stuff in the games, time and time again. The general population will follow. I have seen so many crazy things because of this pro league. Nox in the support role, which
I don't mind.
I think it's great, but Darda's
I
bringing
listen to
that
the
out.
Domination podcast.
Yeah, Darda's bringing that out. I think it's fantastic, and I'm glad he did.
What I like, though, here as we discuss meta, is that Team Rival is playing the anti-meta intentionally. They're bringing out the weird Ares so that Team Dignitas is kind of off balance, right? Well, that's the key.
Let's be straight. Dignitas beat him 2-0 straight up, right? Straight up play from both teams.
Yeah.
They can't beat him straight up. What do? You try and throw him a curveball, or you kick him in the nuts.
That's how you gotta go for it.
You don't have a choice. You gotta do something. Turn it mid, gotta
Jump on
hit,
top.
third bomb, raw snipe, but Trix is now tankier. This is not gonna be as beneficial as it was before. And this is the issue that I'm worried about with this squad, is the longer this game goes, the stronger Digger gonna get, especially if I do see Arco go for some crit later on.
I like this
But
choice.
I don't think Arco can really go crit, actually. He may have to go for just the full pen build with chins, and he is doing that so
Yeah,
far
he goes chin.
because he's got so many tanks to shred through.
At the same time, I like this play going directly for the objective. Going to be leashed out as the ultimate from Giannis comes right on through, making the right side of the map a virtual minefield.
And Zero's build right now is exactly what I expected it to be. Chronos Pendant into Spirit Desolation. The longer the game goes, the stronger his damage you'll get. But with this much cooldown reduction right now, which is basically 40% if you have abilities on cooldown, you've got 40% there with Sands of Time included, then what that ends up meaning is that your portals are up all the time.
That's
it's old school Giannis. Rival though will take the tier 1 tower.
Another 500 gold for the purple team here, playing in blue today. 18 minutes on the clock, 11 to 6-3 the kills. Gold lead still going up. Team Rival take the gold series. Textbook play by Ice Baby, dropping the ring, separating out, earning the objective, 4K in the lead.
I noticed how we saw Rival use the Wolfie ultimate straight away too. There was no plan to fight there. They don't have it for this fight, which I'm a little bit surprised they want to take it when Wolfie's ult is on cooldown.
Hugo Fred jumps a little too far. There's Frenzy. That means fight. Chain 1, chain 2. There's the ultimate variety. He's already gone. A different story for Trickstag. He's gone, but in the worst way.
One down, and now Rival try to march on a little bit stronger. Taunt from Kellis. No beats this time, boys. Bye-bye, Cubo Fred. See you later, Arculus. You have to get away. Tier 2 tower now being taken in mid. And Rival are making a series of this.
Just forcing these objectives. There's no reason Team Rival should walk up and get that tier 2 tower. They willed it, and they forced Team Dignitas back, and that's how they get their tier 2.
And now they're going to go for the Pole Demon on top of the goal field they just got to. Pole Demon does go their way, and Rival in a commanding lead. And the funny thing is, we said this before, they are on a clock.
Yeah,
they are on a clock
absolutely.
here, but they are playing well with this clock.
Well, they're playing like they're on a clock. They understand everything that we're talking about here. Like we said, the Ares pick is not just a, oh, let me select something real quick. They understand all of the implications of going with this composition, not just about the beads and how that works out, but they understand that this is a much earlier game competition than their opposition.
Oh, interesting. Mid lane, Ice Baby going to be in trouble. I'll come back to what I'm looking at right now, because I'm very interested.
Nice job.
And now Variety's trying to step up to the plate, realizing he needs help, but he's still in trouble in mid. However, Kellis getting relatively low here, has to be careful.
Yeah, he's got to back way off, but hey, there's another Guardian. Unfortunately, everybody backs off. There's Cubo Fred jumping on the back line, slow, and it's just a tier 1.
Now here's the issue that I just noticed, and this is what I was looking at intently, because originally Zero's, I mentioned it, was going for the Spirit Desolation, but he sold it and started going for more pen instead. He realizes that he needs to get online quicker than he wants to, because he has to get some damage going.
Yeah, Spear of Dezo is relatively expensive, especially in juxtaposition to that shard. So he realized, look, I backed, I went for it, not gonna be an option. I have to get this penetration, because it's not just Team Rival, it's not just the commentators, not just the fans. Dignitas understand that they're on a clock as well. And Rival are gonna get going. Dig needs to stop that sooner rather than later.
And they've had opportunities where they've slowed it down for a moment or two, but I don't think Rival is just gonna give it up right now. I think they just need to keep this pressure. If anything, I feel like they should actually start the Fire Giant up for a second to see if they can get a response.
Yeah.
They can't try and commit to a Fire Giant because Zero's is lurking anywhere.
You need to,
that's
so
dangerous.
Here's what I want to see out of Team Rival. Real intense. I want to see them push up into the enemy jungle. Kallis taunts a bunch, Wolfie threatens with damage. All of the beads go down. Start the Fire Giant, Deathwalker, does Deathwalker, wipe the team, see you later, game 4.
Well, I do like this call too. Surprising enough to see a Kallis split push on Athena, who does have the ultimate. The bad news is, it'll take him a bit of time to get there if an engagement was to begin. And you can see Dignitas happy to try and start things off.
And you know, this is also a form of a bait. Team Dignitas say, hey, it's 4-on-5. They don't have Athena. Let's go for it. Now, they obviously realize Defender of Olympus is an option, but still, that little bit of time could be good enough.
Callus is still pushing on this left-hand side. We were talking about Ares split push earlier. Well, Athena split push, who hasn't gone for the damage options, you know, taking him in time, but he's going to get it for free.
It'll actually work here. Left, right side, different kind of a fight.
3 chains.
3 chains, but walks away, no problem.
The walk away for now is now Zeros. Will meet Callus over the side and defend the tower. In goes Ice Ice, looking to catch Variety, will do so. Eagles Rally is available. Ice Ice not able to get in there just a little bit. I tell you what, if we could have blinked a little bit earlier, could have been better space and time. Look at how little damage that did. Obviously, it was a short range, but this is the issue with a Giannis.
Just doesn't even matter. Now, split push Ares, hilarious. Split push Athena, also hilarious. Split push Jingwei, actually a big deal. Team Rival are pushing up here. They need this Phoenix. They caused Jingwei to come back because of their threat.
And that's the benefit of Arkell playing Jingwei, to be honest, is that he can split push and then recall very quickly, and then even reposition in the fight, not like a normal Hunter would, because she can use that passive to get around, skirt the outside of the fight. Look for a play, Callus.
Damage with 1 chain. Damage with 2 chains, not enough. As the game gets later and later, I'm getting less and less excited about these Ares taunt chains because it's just not as effective.
It's not, I mean, the chains are good for locking them down, making sure they can't really escape, because the slows do make an impact from those chains too, but it's not on the primary target. The primary targets need to be Jingwei and need to be Giannis.
The primary target was the Gold Fury.
Overall, Arkell, there's the primary target. 2 chains and a chain variety, a 3rd one for Arkell in the end, but now Deathwalker's got to turn tail. Callus gonna get focused, now Ice Ice around the back gets noticed, and Digger just playing, there's a guy here, hit him, there's a guy here, hit him, and then Rival are just slowly moving them around wherever they see fit.
The 3 chains brought Arkell down to about 40% HP. That's a big deal. So, you know what? I'll take my comment back. Maybe I am still excited.
It could work out, it really could. But the clock is starting to continue to tick. Everyone is slowly starting to approach level 20, which, to be fair, the game is being extended by Rival's play by fighting so much. Normally at 24 minutes in, you are guaranteed to see at least 2 or 3 people on each team about to hit 20. In this game, I've got only 2, and it's 1 for each side of the Hunters. The Solos have been fighting so much. Variety's 2 levels down against an Ares.
I mean, it's the same thing for the mid lane. Zero's a level and a half down versus Wolfie on this Ra. Team Rival setting up one more time. Right side of the map. Hey, we saw this one before. Athena on the left side looking for the free tower. Ice Ice Baby stepping up front, putting down the ring. There's the bracer. Objective goes to Team Rival.
But Ice Ice jumped in very short on that lunge.
Zeros!
Time did hit Vote, and that'll take him out of the fight. Deathwalker first of all to help the team out. Ice Ice will get away for a second, but Arkell still giving chase.
Nice
Vote is doing good damage with Deathwalker on the front side, but the damage from Dig is good. Digger in this fight, Callus is low, Callus is dead, and the carry that is Arkell is coming to play just when Dignitas needed him. This is the issue with this sort of composition.
We take a look at Biggie right there and his reaction. I think this could be trouble for Team Rival here, Hindu Man. Nice little jump in from Ice Ice. But he's 1 for 3. He gets rooted. What are you doing? Arkell puts him down. Team Dignitas down, but not out.
And the crowd is just here for good plays by the sounds of it, because now they're cheering for Dig too. They want this series just to go on and see some amazing plays, and we're getting just that as it stands at 25 minutes in. The clock that we were always talking about, is that the tide has turned, is best is the way of putting it, or has it? Because it's still early tide. It's not high tide just yet.
I'm like stuck. I'm thinking here, man. Team Rival are very much still in this. Wolfie is going to continue to be devastating as the game goes on. Will he be able to match the damage of the Giannis? Quite a different story. But then you have Cubo Fred diving the back line, and the problem for me there, Hindu Man, was the target selection. And the use of abilities that didn't really... Deathwalker uses the ultimate, nobody can capitalize. Callus taunts, nobody's...
In goes Variety into 3. Wolfie's beads are already used. Space and Heim is 2, but not enough for damage. But look at Cubo punching Wolfie in the face, but Wolfie gets away, and it's Cubo that falls, and the Ares Walker gets a double kill.
And that's the difference. The last team fight that we watched, all of those abilities sort of came out haphazardly. Oh no, I'll use my ult. Oh no, I'll use my taunts. Right there, all calculated and under control. Variety makes an imperative mistake by going in a little bit too soon, and the collapse, and here's the fire
I
giant.
think that was all Dig's call, because Zeros was so prime with that ultimate, to be fair.
Yeah.
With that space and time. I think they got a little bit too excited with themselves that he was online yet.
Yeah.
In fairness, all he did in the last engagement was take out both from a long distance. And the carry being out of this fight for Rival was the reason they lost the last fight. Dig got confidence in that play and tried to capitalize further, and instead, they've reset it again for a little bit longer. Zero still needs a little bit more.
This fire giant's very important for Team Rival. Game getting later and later, we keep talking about how dangerous that is for Rival, and this competition's gonna fall off. Well, the fire giant is exactly what the team needs to sort of keep that competition headed into the late game. We always talk about the fire giant being all about the extra sustain. Here, it's about the everything else.
Everything else, and now with this Rival and the fire giant able to swing out to the left-hand side, only 3 towers remaining for Dignitas in this game as it stands, with how well Rival have done during the first 27 minutes. Callis, once again, being sent on not necessarily split push duty, but defensive duty from losing towers elsewhere.
Tier 2 tower, likely to fall here. Half HP, Zero shows up. Not gonna be enough. The damage out of Vote, very strong. That one goes down 1,500 one more time, and Team Rival pass that 10,000 gold lead. That's so devastating.
Well, it's going to get a little bit more in a second, because the Gold Fury just spawned at exactly the right time for them too, just to capitalize on that a little bit further. This fire giant, though, I don't think... Oh, space and time? No, a little bit late. Will it kill anyone? Everybody lived, just about. I just watched him fly through the map, and I'm like, just see if the health bar disappears all of a sudden. Nope.
There's always that moment.
Is he going to hit?
You just hold your breath real quick and hope it doesn't go down. Team Rival. All the objectives on the map down for the count. 1 tower remains in the right-hand side, but it's the middle lane that Team Rival have their sights set on. This Phoenix wants to go down. There's the taunt. Chain 1, chain 2. Cubo Freddy's ace just for the moment.
No escape, buddy, but no, he'll get away just in time. And now it's pressure once again from Rival in the mid lane. Onto the Phoenix they go as Variety's rally here from the Eagles rally wasn't quite good enough, and he took more.
Wolfie! Just off the mark. Variety walks away, able to survive.
So Rival are trying to pressure a little bit more. Votes just needs to swing at the Phoenix, but the fight is still going on. Tricks with a very good route onto multiple members and a stun onto Deathwalker. Ares is getting quite low, and Zeros and Variety are back at full health.
Still 5 members of Team Rival. Fire Giant in tow. Collis does have the ultimate, so he's able to come back with another life should he need to. Right now, Vote and BK swinging like a truck. 1-0-7 with that OD bow. Very dangerous with those basic attacks.
And then we go again with Callis looking for a talk. Won't find it though.
Chain.
Meanwhile, Ice Ice Baby jumps in. Variety taking a bit of poke space and time!
Zeros gets the kill from a distance. Not going to be enough. 1 dead,
on
gets the
Deathwalker
Phoenix.
is going to cause problems as Zeros finds the portal, looking for the unstable, and will find it through the wall.
The heal!
Vote has managed to find Cubo.
The kill!
Vote has managed to find Tricks.
The kill!
Deathwalker's managed to find Variety, and Zeros has managed to find out that his entire team is dead.
40 seconds, 40 seconds, 35, 46. The Titan is under attack. There are no minions. It's down to half. It's down to a quarter. It's down in the ground. We'll see a game 4, and thank that